Hey everybody, welcome back to Peachy Disc Golf. Today I am here at Chattahoochee Pointe Park to play a 9-hole challenge using only this brand new stack of Prodigy discs. Let's get it. So I have done a Prodigy only video before, but that was using some Spectrum Air plastic. This time I got a pretty hefty stack of Prodigy discs in more of their standard plastic. So real quick, I'll run through the discs. I won't really go into too much detail about each one because that'll take forever. Look how many I have. But starting off with putters, I'm going to be putting with the PA-3 here. I have a PA-3 in both the 300 plastic that I'm going to putt with, and then I also have one in the 400 plastic here that I'm going to use as a throwing putter. I really like their rebranding here. It looks really clean. Then I got a couple approach discs. We got an A5 here. This is in 300 plastic, preserve stamp. I really like the way this stamp looks. I also have the A2, which is supposed to be a little bit beefier. This one's in 400 plastic, so this will be another approach disc that we test out. We got two mid-ranges as well. I have an M4 here in 400 plastic. We also have the Stryder here, Kaole Visca disc, pretty high-speed mid-range. It should be a little bit overstable, so we'll give this a throw as well. And then a couple of fairway drivers. First off, I got another Air Spectrum F5 here. I had one earlier when I did that initial Air Spectrum test, but I totally lost that one. So I replaced it with a new one. Then we have the F3, an 8-speed driver here. Really looking forward to this one. It feels nice in the hand. And then last up, we have an H7. So this is the old branding, which I don't like that much. I really like the new branding so much more. This is supposed to be super understable, but it's a 9-speed. We'll see if I can get it to flip over. So we're gonna play the front 9 here at Chattahoochee Pointe Park, see how they go, and I'll tell you my thoughts along the way. Alrighty, hole 1 here, 180 feet, par 3. You can see the basket on the left side of the fairway here. Normally, I actually go for just a little baby turnover that way, straight shot. I don't really have anything super understable though, so we're gonna go with the A5. I really like the way this disc feels in the hand. We're gonna go down the left gap though. And that should skip right up to the basket. I definitely came pretty close to this first tree on the right. Let's try the A2 as well, just to see how it compares. That A5, the numbers are a little deceiving. I think it says a turn of -1, fade of 2. That thing feels and flies like a zone, at least right now, straight out of the box. This is supposed to be pretty beefy. Oh yeah, that's a beefy disc there. Flies nice though. I feel like it is a little more overstable than a zone, which is what I'm used to, but nice flight, very comfortable in the hand for both of them, honestly. You can see both throws are pretty good. The A5 went a little long of the basket and didn't fade quite as much. The A2 absolutely parked. Putting with the PA-3 here. I really like this 300 plastic. I'm using the 300 plastic in both this PA-3, this pinkish orangish one, and then also the A5s are in 300. Nice birdie. I really like how it feels compared to other base plastics, so nice. 2 birdies. Nice way to start the day. Not as nice as the Watt video. I just hit my first ace with the Watt. If you haven't checked that video out, that video came out probably just before this one. Hole 2 here, 360 feet, par 4. Pretty gettable par 4 here. You can see the basket perched on this short hill here straight ahead. Got a couple trees in the fairway. We're gonna try out this H7, just sort of throw it flat into the left side and see how much it turns. I expect though, it'll fade out towards the end and I might end towards the center or even on the left side of this fairway, but we'll see, we'll give it a try. Throw this as hard as I can and see how much turn we can get out of it. Oh, that's got a nice turn. Yeah, it still ended to the left like I thought, but that was a really nice smooth turn to the right. And then just at the end of the flight, a little fade. I definitely was expecting to end more left even. That's what's been happening with me with 9 speeds lately. It's just going to the left, but I'm gonna try this F5. I think it's a little heavier than my original. This one's 164. So it feels nice though. I really do like this Air Spectrum plastic. Oh, that's got even more turn. I think I put a little anhyzer on that. Wow, that was a great flight also. I kept that pretty low and it just sort of coasted down to the right. Baby fade, just really forward penetrating fade at the end. both of these drives were like some of the best throws I've had on this hole. What the heck? I got the H7 here. I do have this tree right between me and the basket. Gonna go with the A2. Oh, that's 2 inside, I think. No, that's no problem. The F5 over here. 400 plastic PA-3 though. So we'll give it a little toss. I do like the way that PA-3 as a throwing putter, I like that as well. It's got a nice arcing over stability to it. Couple putts here, start with the PA-3 a little bit longer, but still only like 7 feet. Shouldn't be a problem. Yep. And then the A2, a little bit down the hill, but still even closer, 5 feet. Sun right in my eyes though. Still no problem. Alrighty, hole 4 here, par 3, 240 feet. Basket straight ahead here. Just got to make it through this really wide gap. We're going to be going with the M4 here on a little turnover. See if we can get it there. And it'll also be a sort of a comparison to the Hex for me as well. Maybe a month or 2 ago, I recorded that Hex video. And this was one of the holes where I did one of my tests. Let's see how the M4 stacks up. Little Anheuser, very similar to the Hex, honestly. That flies really nice. That's circle 1. Should be able to get a birdie from there. When I tested the M4 at first, I was using that Air Spectrum one. Super lightweight, like 150 some grams, I think, maybe 160. 400 plastic though feels so much nicer, and that was a nice flight. I'm impressed. No problem. I really like the way that this PA-3 feels. I didn't think I was gonna like it because it is a beaded putter. I do normally putt beadless, but this is a really nice feeling base plastic. I like throwing it with the A5. I like putting with it with this PA-3. I will say this is a good deal more overstable than my normal putterlets. Like if I had a circle's edge putt, I'm not really that great at it still. I've been trying it out here and there for the past week or so. But like from here, I expect this to fade out earlier than I'm used to with my butter. I say as I drain it still, what the heck. I have been beating it in a little bit, but when I first got it, it was super overstable. I couldn't make anything past like 20 feet. Hole 4, 780 feet, par 4, the longest hole on the course here. For this first throw, we just have to make it through these 2 initial gaps between the trees. Gonna be trying out the F3 here in 750 plastic. Plastic feels pretty nice. It's got a nice grippiness to it. Honestly, also, with all of these discs, there's still a little flashing, but not anything super noticeable. The bottoms of the discs as well, pretty comfortable in the hand. So far, everything that I've held has felt great. So F3 here, straight ahead. Try to just pipe it through both gaps and then stay in the center of the fairway. Oh, that's got some nice turn to it. Wow, that's a beautiful flight. That was perfect, dead center. Honestly, this got pretty solid distance. I threw it maybe 70% power. I didn't throw very hard. I'm focusing more on accuracy there. But now we'll try it again. This time we're gonna really rip into it. I say that though, but at the same time, now there's a ton of dew on it, so that could negatively impact this flight. Yeah, look at that turn. Wow, that's a beautiful flight. We'll compare the turn. So H7 here, 9 speed, more turn. Yeah, it definitely has more fade at the end, but that flipped up really nice. We'll throw from the F3 here. Still quite a ways to go, unfortunately. We're gonna give this F5 another shot. Just pipe it down straight at it. Hopefully it turns a little bit. Then a little finish at the end, a little S curve, we'll see. Try that out. Oh, that slipped out of my hand. Oh, keep turning? Okay. Wow, wait. I didn't think I was gonna get there. That's pin high. That's like a little 15 footer. This isn't even 15 feet. What the heck? Is this about to be the easiest birdie I've ever gotten on this hole? Hole 5, 200 feet, it's a par 3. Basket straight ahead in this tunnel. I don't really have anything super understable here, unfortunately. So I'm gonna be going with the M4 here for this throw. I wonder, what's the Prodigy disc that I would use here. PA-3 maybe, is that like the most understable putter? I just recorded my watt video here on this hole also. 4 drives, all shanked into the woods, perfect. 2 on each side. Nope, I can't. I did that 3 times, 2 times. Oh God. Let's try the PA-3, but I'm gonna use the 300 one. A little more beat in, less straight. Actually, maybe we'll throw both just as a comparison. You know, not that we're gonna get any great comparisons on this hole because I'm throwing it so well right now. Oh, well, of course. Yeah, that's what I was worried about with the PA-3. It's pretty beefy at the end. This 400 plastic PA-3, I can only assume is gonna be even beefier. Or not. What the heck? That was money. M4, distance-wise, made it up pretty good, luckily. Should be able to save par here. I'm gonna go with the A5. I have a tiny little window I can make it through. Yep, that's money. Okay, one of the PA-3s ended by this log. Let's go. Second PA-3. Woohoo. Nope. Terrible putt. We got the A5 for par. Where was it? Here? I just grabbed it, oops. Somewhere around there. Hole 6, 235 feet, par 3, basket straight ahead, wide open fairway, no problem here. Just because we haven't thrown it yet, we're gonna go with the Stryder. Might unload a few on this hole just because it's so wide open. Pretty good showcase. That had a nice little flip. I definitely expected it to be more overstable from the numbers. It's nice though. It reminds me of the, what was that? Not the Bobcat, what was the other? The Mustang. It reminds me of the Mustang from Mint Discs. Had that little flip, straight carry, and then a gentle fade at the end. Let's throw the M4 as well. This one I can go a little more direct, I believe. I do think the M4 is a little more comfortable for me as well. Yeah, much less fade. I threw that a bit nose up, so it's sort of stalled out also. Really soft throw. Let's try the approach discs as well. We'll go A2 first. This one I'm just gonna really lay into, throw it to the right. This one I expect to be pretty beefy. Oh yeah, what a beefy disc. That's pretty solid, maybe 15 feet short. Let's compare that then real quick directly to the A5 now. This one I might be able to get there because it carries a little straighter, I believe. That is such a nice flight. I think they're right next to each other actually, but that was definitely a straighter, less fade than the A2. The A2 was sort of that arcing hyzer the whole way. This one went nice and straight with a nice fade at the end. Last one. Oh man, I'm having so much fun with these. Are you kidding me? I was not expecting to enjoy these this much. I thought I was gonna like them. PA-3 now. That is such a nice flight. All 3 of those putter and approach discs are, I think, all within 5 feet of each other. Here you can see the Watt and the Bullet right next to each other, but both of them are well short of the basket still, so not great throws from either one, but they did fly pretty similarly. Just like I thought, all of the putt and approach discs, all within 5 feet of each other. Circle 1, pretty short though, and actually, my Stryder was also really short. What the heck? I thought I threw this okay, but I guess I threw it kind of soft. Circle 1's edge. All right, if this goes in, I am gonna seriously consider switching to these PA-3s. Ooh, so close. I committed to it at least, didn't throw it short. Hole 7, par 3, 255 feet. This one is going to be basically a straight throw through the gap here, let it fade to the left. We're gonna try the Stryder and the M4 again here and try to get a little more mustard on it, get them a little further. Oh, too high. Oh, I made it through. Nose up. That's gonna be circle's edge. We'll go with the M4 though. Try to make that correction. Keep it low, nose down. Oh God. Super turned over. much better distance. All right, so the Stryder we're about 20 feet here or so. Just a little short, a little too far to the right as well. The M4 was about pin high, but I guess I put a little anhyzer on it, threw it off too far to the right. So let's see though, how can we get the birdie here with the PA-3 putt?
So apparently my lavalier mics died here, so I have a little voiceover for the next couple of holes. Hole 8 is 215 feet par 3. Just got these little trees on the left to avoid. Got to keep it low to avoid this tree on the right. Going with the A5, and it's a pretty good throw. It looks like it's pin high. That's almost exactly what you're looking for. Try a couple more throws as well. First up, I'm going to be using the PA-3 in 400 plastic here. Throw it out a bit too wide into the trees, and it gets tangled up and hits a branch that kicks it off way to the left. And then we'll also try out the A2 as well to see if we can get a comparison for how much more overstable it is versus the A5, but unfortunately I swing it out too wide and it gets tangled up in the leaves as well. But you can see here my A5, perfect throw, maybe 10 feet from the basket, no problem, nice birdie. Hole 9 is 180 feet par 3, wide open shot here, just these two little trees to avoid. So I'm gonna unload quite a few discs here, mainly the putt and approach discs. So starting off with the 400 plastic PA-3, throw it nice and high, give it good height. And it looks like it was tracking a little bit, but it's just a little too high, so it finishes off to the left of the basket. Next up, we're gonna go with the A5, 300 plastic here. And I throw this one too far to the left. It actually gets tangled up in one of the little trees you're trying to avoid, so not a good throw there. Let's see if we can make the correction with the A2. I throw this one significantly more right and give it some pretty good height. It looks like it's tracking, and oh my god, it just goes just past the basket. I thought that could go in. Last up, PA-3, this time in 300 plastic, the one I've been putting with. Give it a little anhyzer actually, and it fights out pretty nicely, and it's also tracking, and this one just goes just behind the basket as well.
All right, well, apart from the A5, pretty good throws. I have my base plastic PA-3 here, A2 right here, just a little long, but then the birdie one we're going from, my first PA-3 throw, just a hair short of the basket. This was a pretty good line. A2 is just a little past the basket then. But got a birdie to end things off. Let's talk about this stack of Prodigy discs. We're gonna run through it pretty quick here. Don't wanna take up too much time, but I'll let you know my final thoughts. So starting off with the putters, PA-3, I am heavily considering switching to this putter. It feels amazing. I love the base plastic in the hand. I love the way that this feels. I wasn't sure I was gonna like it because it's beaded. I don't typically like beaded putters, but this flies great. It's a really nice putter, really like it. Same thing in the 400 plastic here as a throwing putter. It's great as well. I've heard that people really like both putting and throwing the PA-3, and I could see why. It has a great flight. Pretty straight flight with a nice overstable finish. I might try to make room for this disc as well. Not quite as overstable as the Envy, but not as understable as the Proxy, so could be a good compliment. Maybe I'll do a video testing that out. Let me know if that would be something you'd be interested in seeing. For the two approach discs, I love the A5 as well. It's got a nice thin profile that really fits well in my hand. It comes out nice and clean. And in this 300 base plastic, I think it feels fantastic. I'm interested to see how this holds up, to see if it like beats into a nice, really straight flying disc. I think it would be a lot of fun, and I have a couple others as well. I can use as backups, maybe cycle them through. I'd also be interested in trying it out in a premium plastic as well. Maybe it's more overstable or not, but I really do like the way that the A5 flies. I also really like the way this A2 flies. Man, I really liked the putt and approach line with these Prodigy discs. This A2 is very beefy, but at the same time, it's not like super uncontrollable. Like while I was recording this video, I also did a video with the Zone versus the Zone OS. The Zone OS is a absolute beefcake that I don't find myself throwing very often, if at all. Whereas this A2, I could see still being useful. It sort of reminds me of my Toro, which is pretty overstable, but I think this has a little more glide and straightforward push than the Toro. So I could see myself putting this in the bag as well. All right, moving on to the mid-ranges. The Stryder, probably my least favorite disc of the group, honestly. I think the flight is pretty nice. It's got a nice little hyzer flip up to flat and then a gentle fade towards the end. Not anything crazy overstable, but I think it's more in the hand. It wasn't terribly comfortable for me. It's almost a little too deep, I think, and then the rim is it's kind of wide. Just not for me as far as like hand feel wise. Flight wise, it's totally fine. On the other hand, though, the M4 was a disc that impressed me, and it's got me questioning whether I should try to make room for this disc in the bag as well. Compared to my Hex, just like from thinking about it, I obviously I didn't do any like direct comparisons with my Hex, but I think that this might be a little, just a tick more understable than the Hex, and it might be a good compliment because of that. That might be another video that I tried doing. I might do a comparison between this M4 and the Hex just to see, is there room for both in the bag or would one replace the other? I don't think this would replace the Hex. I think the Hex is a little more comfortable in my hand, but if the flights are different enough, I could see bagging both. All right, then moving on to the fairways. The F5 and the Air Spectrum plastic, I'm still enjoying a lot. This was my favorite of the group when I did that Air Spectrum video, and I still really like this one as well. It is still a bit lightweight, so it's obviously not something I would trust in the wind, but it's very comfortable. It has a nice turn to it. I can see keeping this in the bag for a little hyzer flip action. I still very much enjoy the F5. The F3, I also enjoyed a lot as well. This is probably my favorite fairway driver of the group, even more so than the F5 even. This was a nice straight disc, and if I put some power into it, it gets a nice flip, but not anything too crazy understable. It'll just have a nice little S-turn. It reminds me of my Stag. That might be an interesting comparison to see if there's overlap there or if one's more understable than the other. Last up, the H7 here. I thought that the flight was pretty nice. It's definitely very understable, but I don't think I like it quite as much as, say, like my Heat or even my Virus. I think this might be more understable than those two discs, but it's very domey profile-wise, so it doesn't fit like perfectly great in my hand. I don't know. I might give it a little bit more test run as well to see if I can get a more dependable turn with the H7 versus the Heat is what I'm bagging in that understable 9-speed slot right now. Or is that a disc I'm just going to completely get rid of and stick to like an 8-speed like the Stag or maybe even that F5, something around there and see. But this disc is totally fine. I really liked the flight out of it the few times that I threw it. I just didn't quite enjoy it as much as like the F3 and the F5. So yeah, that's it for my my Prodigy only round. Honestly, I was very impressed with most of the discs, especially the putt and approach discs. I could foresee adding every single one of those discs into my bag in some capacity. It's going to be tough because I don't know if I can get rid of the Envy and the Proxy. Those are like staples in my bag. I can definitely switch out, like the Toro is my overstable disc. That I can give or take whatever. I could definitely foresee using the A2 in that slot, no problem. But do I have room for the A5 as well? Do I switch to the PA-3? They're wonderful discs, honestly. I really like the putt and approach discs. And again, cosmetically, this new like rebrand that they're doing looks fantastic. I really like how clean it looks. It just makes me want to throw them. If the disc looks great and feels great, I really want to throw it. So they're definitely doing a great job with that. That's going to be it for this episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't yet, I would greatly appreciate it if you'd consider subscribing to the channel. Let me know down in the comments below, like, what Prodigy discs do you think I should try out next? If I should try to like change any of my other disc system Prodigy discs, because again, these impressed me so much. I really want to try out some more. But if you enjoyed watching this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and ring that notification bell so you can be notified when our next episode comes out. Until next time, guys. Cheers.